The Afro1 Show, voice of a new tribe, where the Afropolitan spirit rises as we come together to rebuild Africa, Nigeria, and its marketplace, empowering its people and the diaspora with everything they need. Together, we form a new tribe, creating opportunity and access to markets, driving reinvestments, fostering collaboration, and working to elevate and one another with proven solutions. A true revival in Africa is possible despite the challenges, though through intentional development that drives innovation, delivers mutual benefits, and inspires a culture of ownership for Africa and Africans. The time is now to unite, innovate, elevate with the Afropolitan Apostle, Darlington Steve, on the Afro1 Show, voice of the new tribe.
You're listening to a bit further that is Nigerializing us. And that is where you almost want to feel as if maybe Trump has finally sent something to Nigeria that is affecting our network. So please bear with me. In case if the network is not going well, if the sound, I think I'm looking at echoes first to let me know what is happening, if my sound is good and if my so I've been told now that the video is frozen. The video is back now. Okay. Guys, please, you will pardon me for any of the what's it called? Of any of the things that may not be going well. It's just the fact that I'm trying as much as possible to get this thing working properly. So just bear with me as we push this to its permanent site, like they say it in Nigeria. I think, family, one thing I want to talk about is this. I think is the issue of Nigeria first and foremost, because today's topic we want to talk about is it's a whole different ball game in terms of our talks. And for those of you who wants to call, you can call in. I promise you I'll be able to. Today is one of those free days. I just wanted to just have a good chat with us all, especially on the Nigerian of things. And also, I traveled a few days ago, and I was saying to Echo a few minutes before I came in online now about some certain mindset of how people see us as Nigerians, and also in terms of some of the ecosystem of things that we're supposed to be doing that we're not doing. And yet we are trying as much as possible to attract good funding, but the funding that we're looking for is not coming the way we want. Then it then shows that something we might be doing that is not right. So with that being said, to the family that are here, if you want to call us on this very particular the number here that you are this very particular place to be able to talk to us, if you want to join on the conversation. And also you can also send your comments where you are watching us currently, and I'll be able to read your comment live here and also be able to answer your questions. So for those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Afropolitan Apostle, which is also known as Darlington Steve, the CEO and founder of Afro1 Network, which is a Pan-African media that talks about African narratives, championing ethical leadership, and bridging the gap between nation, ideology, people, and its tribe. So everything we do as Afro1 is all about bridging the divide. And so because of that, today we are going to talk the whole system. I think last week I couldn't come live because I was not in the country. I was not in the state, because if I go and expose myself now, I was not in the States. And so based on that, we had to do a recording where we're talking about all things, the five tiers of businesses that you are either operating in that you don't know. I think I remember last week we talked about the part of being a professionals, from a professional to a self-employed, from a self-employed to a business owner, from a business owner. I think let me quickly go to that part because my brain is a bit freezing so that I get this. Yeah, from a professional to a self-employed, from self-employed to entrepreneurs, then from entrepreneurs to a founder. So these are the 5 metrics that we looked into last week. And I want to encourage you, please go on the video, on the live show video of Afri1 Show on YouTube. You'll be able to see that very particular video. It will help you to understand where you are currently sitting. Are you sitting as a professional? Are you sitting as a self-employed? Are you sitting as a business owner? Are you sitting as an entrepreneur or probably a founder? Now, just because you found a business does not mean that you are in a business of an entrepreneur, or just because you are a professional does not mean that you are in a business, and just because you are a self-employed still doesn't mean that you're an entrepreneur. So all of those things, and just because you found a business doesn't mean that you are a self-employed. There are different things into this very particular topic that I'm talking about, that when you then go, you watch it, you'll be able to understand the different cadres that this represents. And I think I remember last week on that very particular recording, I explained to you that on each and every of that very particular place you find yourself, either as a professional, the key focus of a professional, number one, is the fact that they are skillful and they are master in those very particular things. I like using Echo, for example. Echo is a professional when it comes to the whole place of this work of what you are seeing currently. If somebody is behind it, he's a professional at that very particular point. So which means his key focus is the fact that he's skilled, and in his being skilled, he has also mastered the act of delivering when you call upon him for him to do that. So that's the place for Echo. Now, if Echo wants to now move from being a professional, which is on the motion picture side of things, he now needs to begin to change his mindset, where he then become a self-employed, where, for instance, instead of him holding the camera, then he has people who is holding the camera, but he gets the gig. And as he gets the gig, people he did what you call, is it get the gig or get the job, but he's able to send people to do those very particular things. But the person where he get the gig from, they communicate with him, Echo, and not the business. So which means at that level of self-employed, Echo can still send an invoice based on his name, because why? They are dealing with him as a self person. But the people are not aware that Echo is giving, for example, the graphics to somebody to do, the camera for somebody else to run, and all of those things. At the end of the day, the Darlington wants to just see his content. As to how you do it, I don't care. And so even though the sound is not syncing, I will call Echo and not the audio department in Echo's self-employed structure that he has. Now, if he now wants to move now, so which means at that moment, Echo can be independent of running of the activities, but yet that activities is still dependent on his presence. So which means he's still active on the business, but it's just the fact that he's not the one editing anymore, neither is he the one doing the camera work, all of those very particular things. Now, if Echo wants to move from that point of a self-employed and he wants to get into the space where now he's now a business owner. Now, the difference between the self-employed and the business owner is the system that they've been able to put without Echo being there. Now, that's where the game changed. At that level now, the game is not. And let me say this, at the business owner level, that is where you meet the devils. The devils will come because they will definitely present some certain negotiations on the table just because they are interested, because now they have seen your competence, they've seen your competencies, they've seen your ability for you to deliver. They like your premium speed because you started from a professional to a self-employed. Now you want to make a business out of it, which means Echo at that very particular moment, he doesn't just have one graphic designer or one camera person or one editor. He has numerous. So which means Echo is now running a business where 100 people can be on his system on a monthly base, either on either on a subscription base or a contract or whatever. So he doesn't just depend on one person to come. At that moment, he has a lot of people coming into his business. And at that moment, they don't even need to see Echo, because why? He already has a system that is there. So somebody can just walk into his office as a business owner. Chances are he has a business name. He's paying his tax regularly, because let's call it spade, you have to do that. He's paying his tax regularly. He's paying his staffs and all of those things. He has a team. This is editing department. This is camera department. This is audio department. And everybody is working where, as they come into the office, they meet a frontline person. The frontline person can be a male or a female. On the front line, we want to do this event at Transcorp Hotel. How much is it going to cost us? The person paid the front line. The system now begin to filter. From there, on the business owner, somebody comes out at that very particular business, discuss with the person who has this gig that they brought into the company. If you notice, at this level, Echo is not there anymore. It is now a system and structure that he has been able to put in that very particular place, which is, remember that Echo is evolving from being a professional to a self-employed, now is on a business owner side. Now, this is what separates him now from a business owner to an entrepreneur. Now, this is a different total ball game. Now, an entrepreneur, one of the big things they look for is they are solution-driven thinkers. They are not a professional, they are not self-employed, they are not business owner. They are solution-driven thinkers. For instance, one of the big players, I'm still going to use Echo for an example, so that you can see how you can literally morph if in this very particular space if you really want to move. What will Echo do? Remember that he started as a professional. From there, he finds himself as a self-employed. And then also we see him as a business owner. Now, at this moment, Echo already has a system that is driven. Now, he's now looking for a problem in the industry where he is currently operating at and find a strategic way on how to solve that thing by creating an automation that does not even require over 60% of his staff force. And at that moment, his staff force does not even require him to be able to make a certain decision on that very particular place. E.g., Echo can be, at that moment, you can change his name to Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. Do you know that you don't need to go to Facebook office for you to be able to register as a Facebook owner or a Facebook user? You don't need to go to Google office for you to be able to use that platform, because why? At that moment, they have created an innovative system and they have channeled a growth pattern. So an entrepreneur at that very particular moment also has branches where, yes, sometimes if there's a problem with your Facebook account or a Google account, especially those of us who are in quote content creator and stuff, and something is wrong, you want to go to somewhere for you to go and report. Now, in going to all of those places, if you notice, Echo is not needed at all. Echo stopped operating as a frontliner or probably as a person to go to literally at the level of a business owner. He stops. But at this very particular moment, their key focus is innovation and growth as an entrepreneur. What innovations are you bringing on the table? You can't just be telling us anymore that we need to come to your studio to come and shoot and stuff. There must be a certain innovation that you have created where we can be in the flight and yet we're recording and the thing is going out because you have created probably a plugin or a software or something that people are now paying for it on a monthly basis and all of those things. And before you know what is going on, Echo is making money, or his company is making money, but yet he's sipping Moe, sitting currently at Dubai, enjoying himself. That's exactly what the business owner literally, what's called an entrepreneur literally operates. So which means one of the opportunities of an entrepreneur is the ability for them to scale. The scaling side. If your business cannot scale, you are not an entrepreneur. You are just a business owner, or maybe you're self-employed. So the difference between these four that I've mentioned in terms of the opportunity is the fact that for a professional, what they do is the fact that they build personal brand. Now, for a self-employed, they create system. Now, for a business owner, they diversify and create automation. For an entrepreneur, they are able to scale either globally or regionally, which means we got to find that Echo has Echo Consulting in Abuja, in Lagos, in Johannesburg, in what's it called, Kumasi, because why? He's been able to scaling. If your business is not scaling, and I think this is a thing we miss as Nigeria. You ask another Nigeria, like, no, I'm like Baba entrepreneur. Then you go to their shop, you find that it's just them and their computer. You are not an entrepreneur, you're just a self-employed. This is the hard truth that we need to begin to accept, because I was saying to Kofi, I said, the thing about us as Nigeria is the fact that we are intelligent people, we are smart, and sometimes even that smart also can be seen on the negative side. I'm a Nigerian, I'm permitted to talk about my own people. Even that smartness that in which we have can also be seen on the negative side. We are intelligent, we're smart, we have never die kind of attitude. I think it's Nigeria that the Bible decided to write a man shall fall 7 times as I rise up again. We can rise up. You just discover that you hit us here, Boza, we go. Like what is happening now currently. Trump is helping us, Nigeria, to come out of the insurgency. The next minute I was being told now that the videos that they are putting out there is the videos for over 5 years and 10 years ago. That's the negative side of Nigerian smartness. because now they are trying to make Trump and his people to feel as if they are doing something. Relax, they are not doing anything. They're only just bringing an archive of old stuff, thinking that people like Echo, who are operating on the professional side of things, that they understand that they can be able to benchmark this picture over 5 years ago picture and find out that you're just lying. That's Nigeria. So guess what? Nigerians can be that, but the problem that we are facing, and this is me saying it, the problem an average Nigerian is facing is understanding responsibility attached to it. I remember yesterday, this very particular, the podcast we shoot yesterday with a brother of mine known as Smirk. One of the things that he said, we're talking about the whole issue of kindness in Nigeria. So, and very honest, is something that personally I've been able to look into, and I can tell you point blank, an average Nigerian is not kind. It's not a matter of saying, see, Nigerians can give you, in terms of giving, they can give and still attack you. Kindness is far beyond that. An average Nigerian will come into your space, literally is looking for how to exploit you, not to complain and work with you. An average Nigerian will come around your space. I didn't say all, I say average ahead before you people now, because English sometimes can be limited in your mind. An average Nigerian can come around your space, and all they are looking is the fact that you actually have just that 100 naira for you to survive. They are looking forward to take all the 100 naira from your hand, because why? Kindness is far. And it's because an average Nigeria is literally operating from these two things. Number one, a scarcity mentality, and number two, a lack of information. These two things is literally the deformity of an average Nigerian. So when you are doing a business with a Nigeria, an average Nigeria, please hear me, put these two factors in mind. Number one, they are thinking from a scarcity mentality. Number two, lack of information about the product and services they even want to render to you. And number three, everybody's just surviving. We're all just surviving. And so because of that, the ability to take time. I remember this very particular lady, as we were flying in, and all of a sudden we were in the plane for like a couple of hours, and we were just talking. Apparently, she decided to go, she and a couple of others, they went to Davos, and for them to go get some funding and stuff. And she said this to me that was very shocking, that all of the West African country could not score $1 and bring him back into their country for their business. And she was shocked. And she was talking to me about her business and what the business and it's all about and all of those things, only for me to like, okay, talk to me what. And she was explaining, and I could see the potential of the business and the market that she's trying to attend, but she herself just have the idea, but she's not been able to get the full information about that business. That is why, for instance, the 1% or the 20% will keep getting richer. I remember, I think I read a particular chapter of Femi Otedola's book, and he says one of the things that gave him an edge in his business is the fact that he even pays for information. How many Nigerians are willing to pay for information? Can I say this concerning our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? One thing that most politicians will not be able to beat that very particular president. Not this, sorry, I'm not praising anybody, but I'm just saying this in terms of his competence and his skill, is the fact that he knows how to gather information. He's an information gatherer. He doesn't just sit back. You would think that he knows everybody. And I'm not going to be shocked if he hasn't heard about my name now. He knows, he has people on the ground. He can pay for loyalty. How many of us can do that as a business owners? And so you must be able to understand that on these 4 cadres that I've mentioned, as a professional, a self-employed, a business owner, an entrepreneur, now you have to get to the point where you end up becoming a founder. So which means, if you look at it, I'm going to do a drive-through again using Echo's name as an example. Despite the fact that I like using his name, he may be taller than me. I said it to him one day. He may be taller than me, but last time I checked, David killed Goliath. And that's it. That's to make you understand his height compared to my own. So most times when we talk, I tell him, I look at him, I will move back. I'm making my head to be stretching as if I'm looking to God as the author and finisher of my faith. Relax. So, but this is the thing now. Let's go back again to using Echo. Echo is our scapegoat for today. Echo started as a professional. Remember, he's skillful at his media stuff. From there, he grows to become a self-employed, where he becomes independent, where he's now creating a system that helps him by having people that he can deploy the services to. Now, Echo grew to become a business owner, where it's not just a system that he's put in place. He also has structures and accountability system that helps him in his graphic designing or his motion picture businesses that he's doing. From there, we find out that this is what separates Echo from the top 3 to now being what you call an entrepreneur, is the fact that on the media side of things that Echo is operating, he's been able to pinpoint a problem that is there, and he creates an innovative product that gives him an edge as an entrepreneur. So which means, for instance, it can create a plugins, create a particular software that will make it easier. For instance, there's a particular software I'm using where currently now, as you're watching me, I'm on that very particular software, but it is being transmitted into 3 different platforms. Now that's an entrepreneurship, what you call kind of structure, which is, I don't even know where those guys' offices are. I don't even know if there's a problem and stuff, but innovative product. E.g., I give you an example of Facebook. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg literally is currently sitting in America. I don't even know where he stays, but I know he's a US guy. He's there, but here in Nigeria, we are all browsing his content because why? He has created a product. The same thing as so Echo get to that point where, and this is in Nigeria, please, in the pain that you are going through. See, let me say this. I've been in Nigeria for a couple of months now. I can tell you, I feel your pain. Dude, family, friends, uncle, daddy, mommy. Well, my ancestors are all dead, so I can't say ancestors. I feel your pain. I understand your survival instinct. I know why you are doing what you are doing. Sometimes, let me say this truth, you don't want to be a pain in somebody, but the system is not giving you a space for you to breathe. But guess what? One of the things I've come to understand and I've mastered in life, and I'm praying for God to help me also to be able to begin to create something out of it, is I have been able to use my pain as a product to bring to the market. You have to be able to get point product. So which means in that business where you are, or whatever you are doing currently watching me, and there is a pain that you are experiencing there, hear me, it's not only you that is experiencing that pain. And that's how entrepreneurs are born. Look at a pain that is on the ground. They create something out of it. And literally now that pain becomes a solution. Somebody once asked me, okay, how did we get to Africa and stuff? I said, when I was in South Africa, obviously still play around that space, in and out and all of those things. When I was in South Africa, I understand how the country literally system would block an average foreigner, in quotes, foreigners are non-South Africa, because South Africa believes that foreigners are blacks only, then why the whites who are foreigners are not foreigners, they are investors. That's what I said. At least I can say it now in my country. Last time I said in South Africa, they came for me, but I'm in Nigeria, you can't come. So when I was in South Africa, I get to find out that an average diaspora people who are living there, the opportunities were very limited. And so I had to say, okay, what do we do? And that is how, from my pain, I know how many radio companies in South Africa have used me, for lack of a better word. I don't feel being used, because the moment you are using me to do something is because I have a value that I'm bringing on the table. And so based on that value is what you are using at that very particular moment. So you are sharpening my value. So when I see people complain to say I'm being used, hear me. If you are not being used, then you are not useful. Your usability is based on how useful you are. So stop complaining, no, my boss is using me. Let them use you. If they don't use you, how do you get sharpened? So I've seen that happen literally in this place here, where an average, for lack of a better word, employees in Nigeria don't like no, I don't want to, because my boss like using me. I remember I was talking to a particular lady in church yesterday, and I said to her, I said, see, you complain about, I've been listening to you complain about this being used system. I said, if you're not being used, then you are useless. So I'm sorry. Like, being used is fine because it sharpens you, it strengthens you, it exposes you. I was speaking to somebody close to me yesterday also, when she called and she was calling and she was complaining and all of those very particular. I said to her, I said, see, the company may be coming up with those very particular systems, the demands and all of those things, and you are feeling bad, you feel like you want to cry, you feel like you want to give up and call. I said, don't. In that presence of that very particular pain, 2 things you would do. Number 1, God, what are you speaking concerning this pain I'm experiencing? Number 2, what capacity do I need to build in answering this very particular pain? And that's how I see things. So you must get to the point whereby the ability of you being used is accepted. Now, on that very particular point, jumping down to number 5, which is the founder side of things. If you notice, I'm taking my time to re-explain this because I want to look into something. The number 5 side of things has been an entrepreneur. Like I was saying, Echo, he's been able to get to the point whereby he developed a product. Now, on the founder side, it gets to a point where Echo is not thinking about profit making anymore. He has put people in place, which is exactly what your Dangotes are currently doing. They have put people who are CEOs of their company. All they are trying to build at the founder point is their focus is legacy and institution. It's all about legacy and institution, where by the time you call Dangote, you think refinery. You call Dangote, you think sugar. You call Dangote, you think whatever. If you are not at that level, you are not a founder. Many of us think that because you're literally making plantain chips, you're a founder of plantain chips. No, you're not. You're not the original owner or founder of plantain chips. It's just a business hustling that you literally started. What makes you a founder of plantain chips is the fact that you would have been able to discover something out of the plantain chips and make a product out of it that is unique to you and to the services and the people that you're actually addressing. Hear me, they are all serious mind shift. And like I was saying to this very particular lady in the plane, I said, see, the problem is the fact that you all went there with passion. You did not go to that very particular event with systems and structure and blueprint on how to scale. Whether it's going to be a 5 years growth or a 10 years growth, they want to see it. They want to see their exit plan. And like Smek was talking to me yesterday, he said an average Nigeria, if you give them an investment, I think he mentioned a couple of examples also, where he says somebody invested about 15 million for this very particular person. Next minute, this very particular lady go buy a car. The next minute she was chilling in Dubai, and literally she was supposed to be doing a business with that money. So, which means it was not really about the business. She just want to survive. That's why I say, well, you want to do a business with Nigeria, please hear me. Put these two things in mind. Number one, they are thinking survivor. Number two, they are thinking scarcity mentality. So you must be able to find a way. And I think I'm going to say this for those of you interested in doing business in Nigeria. One of the things I can tell you with Nigeria is the fact that, hear me, because of the high level of, well, for lack of a better word, poverty in the country, you have a lot of dedicated people who literally want to survive. And you can use that survivor as a metrics on you getting, let me say this, Nigeria is the China of Africa. You know how China, you can go there for cheap labor? You can literally find cheap labor in Nigeria. You can't find cheap labor in Nigeria. That's why for me, it's painful whereby most organizations and Africans are not coming together to say, okay, if Nigeria has 220 million people, excluding me because they've not counted me, so I don't know where they get the number from. So let's say 220 million, and we are many. If Nigeria has 220 million, the GDP of that very particular country and the purchasing power is even much more higher, but the product and services in that country is very minimal. You can bring a product and make Nigeria to be a manufacturing product, just like China is a manufacturing product. Nigerian can literally be the manufacturing product of your company that is based in Tanzania, Rwanda, Angola, Morocco, or Algeria, wherever that is. So I'm saying this in the sense that if you want to do business with Nigeria and you trustworthy people to do business, I want to encourage you. Please, you can use the number here. In case if my hand is wrong, let me say this. Echo cost it. I told him, I said, in case if the thing is wrong, he cost it. Good. You can use the number that is available on the screen right now. You call us. Afro, we want to do XYZ business in Nigeria. What is your take? Can you help us? What are the things that we need to know? Can you guide us and code? Trust me, I will be able to assist in making sure that at least you get a proper information. One, then two, get a proper key players who are interested. I know that they will tell you Nigeria is high risk. Nigeria is no high risk in it. You just need to be able to understand the survivor mindset of an average Nigeria, and you will play it easily. Like when I mean easily, I mean easily. So with that being said, I've been able to break down the topic between the entrepreneurship side and using Echo as an example, that you can stand as a professional and you come out as a founder at the end of the day, which means you have found something that you are now building a legacy around that very particular space. With that being said, I'm going to be looking into a quick topic, which is 081 277 93453 for you to pitch your idea of 50,000. Please, you can do that. You may not need to follow all the metrics of what I'm saying. I just want to know what business are you currently doing? Not that you have an idea. What business are you currently doing? Are you selling a product in the market that you need the 50,000 to be able to add to your product so that you can buy more products so that you can then be able to maximize profit? Or are you doing services, but you need to be able to get some certain automation done and all of those very particular. And here, maybe 50,000 is not a return investment, just a seed funding we're just giving out, and that's it. That's our own way of contributing via AfriOne Foundation and also Charlotte Love Foundation. So literally, that's just a thing. So with that being said, let's look at legacy thinking, which is building what outlive you. I know that as I was busy working on this very particular topic in my head, to be fair enough, I think sometimes, maybe because of where my thinking is currently, I somehow feel as if some certain topic may not make sense for you right now, but just have the thinking. Because one of the things that I have noticed literally personally in the Nigerian ecosystem, many people are not building what will outlive them, they're only surviving. Literally, they're only just surviving. And so it's for us to now begin to shift our thinking. I may not be able to finish this topic. I may be able to continue it next Friday, but I don't want to talk too far. Now, one of the ultimate goal of this is the fact that we need to start thinking of building businesses that after we are gone, the business still continue to exist. Literally. And I think I actually did, I'm remembering now that I did a show on the Armed Forces Radio. We have a show on Armed Forces Radio every Friday. I mean, every Wednesday by 7 p.m. tonight. Business in Nigeria does not go beyond its founder. Oh, you don't want to hear some of the comment. As in, I think it was not a good comment everybody were bringing on that show. It was a comment that was painful. But the reason why many of us don't think beyond the existence or probably beyond our exit of the business is because literally we're only building to do a 9-to-5 survivor kind of stuff. Let's be honest. As you're watching me currently on any of the platform, I want you to name 3 Nigerians that have built a product that they are no more and the product is still existing up to now. Let's think. Give me 3. Literally, chances are you may not be able to find it. You may not. You want to call Dangote, he's still alive. I'm saying when the founders are gone, Femi Otedola is still alive. And that's where the issue is. Who else again do you want to? I think the only thing that was in my mind is Oceanic Bank, but Oceanic Bank is not even there at all. Oceanic Bank was the first bank account I had in Nigeria before I relocated. So I'm saying this topic here is the fact that our tagline is the ultimate goal of leadership and entrepreneur is to build something that outlived after they've gone. Now, how do we now begin to do something in terms of making these a point of thinking? Because I really want us to start thinking. I think that's where my issue is. I want us to start thinking and thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of the things that we are going to be doing, thinking outside of the limitations that we are currently experiencing so that we can then be able to do something better than we are currently doing. I think let me quickly, Olu, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you said, God have mercy on Nigeria. I hear you, my brother. May God have mercy on us. We learn that professionals are skillful and have mastery over. Okay, that one is coming from Echo. So, but with that being said, I think I'm just trying to just get this part, and after then we would then be able to start. Please remember that you can be able to call if you want to join on the conversation, and so that we then have a good talk as we go along today. But let me go straight. The first thing, thinking. Remember that I'm saying the topic today is we're looking at thinking beyond you, which means a legacy thinking. That's literally the one word for it. It's called legacy thinking. Number one is the fact that what is the essence of legacy thinking? Because we must be able to understand the essence of legacy thinking. Because the word legacy, which means it's something that you are not there, but it's still existing. The only prototype I can use at the moment is KFC. I think because I like Kentucky Fried, and so I've missed the original version. I said to people, I think, see guys, as I'm saying all of this, please, I'm not talking bad about Nigeria, but please, we just have to say the truth somehow. It was only in Nigeria I discovered that the Coca-Cola taste of Nigeria is Coca-Cola. I was laughing. There was a day we were all fighting at the office here because I like drinking Coke and all of these things. They warned me. And truly, I knew that what I'm taking is a problem, but the body is used to it. So what do you want me to do? So I end up reducing my brain to the substandard version of Coca-Cola in Nigeria, the substandard version of energy drink in Nigeria. But guess what? Back to the talk, because I don't want to get distracted. Legacy thinking and legacy building is the owner of KFC, the owner of Coca-Cola. I don't know if Pepsi is still in Nigeria. I think so, but I don't know. I've not seen that product. But Pepsi also. What else again do I want to call that a legacy product that is still available in Nigeria? There's a lot, for instance, that is still available. that we can then be able to start looking into. So which means your ability for you to have a product that you know that if I am gone, regardless of if my children are alive or my children are interested in the business can still move. And I remember, I think on the show again, one of the caller called in and I asked him, are you building a business that is legacy building? This caller was honest. He said, I'm just building a business that I can take care of my children. That is why it is literally stressful for Africa or Nigeria to attract funding. Because why? We're literally thinking of the now. Of our thinking most time is me. It is not we. Neither it is us. That's why you will find Nigerian politicians literally they believe in their mind somewhere that the country is a private estate where all of us in Nigeria we are their gardeners or probably we are their caretakers. Literally, because why? Our mindset, the average mindset of Nigeria, and including its politicians, all of them, their thinking is just them. There is no thinking that lives beyond them. That is why you will find a Jonathan Goodluck, former president, would start a legacy project. This other president will come crash this one down because he doesn't feel that that very particular project brings his own again. When his time is over, the next one come crash it down, bring his own. I bet you, even what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is currently doing with the coastal road that is going on, I bet you, let's say he doesn't win 2027 election. The next person that is going to come will kill that legacy project and start his own from Abuja to Ghana. Because why? Everything is just about me, I, self. And so because of that, we don't think legacy. We don't think legacy. So number one, the essence of legacy is the fact that most people aim to succeed, but few aim to sustain. You must be able to change your mind that you don't just want to succeed. You want something that is going to I just want to succeed, pay my bills, eat, enjoy, flex, like some influencers on the social media. Everything is money. You know, when I hear that word money na water, I said the reason why you say money na water is because you never earn that very particular money in a painstaking system. If you earn that money in a painstaking system, I don't think you will hear Femi Otedola and what's it called? Aliko Dangote tell you money na water. Lie. Because they know. This thing, you can blow one day. A government policy can come and shake you out of that very particular business. So money will be water. People who will keep shouting money na water, check it. These are all Gen Z's generation or Gen Z's mindset. There's a difference between the old money and the new money. New money guys will tell you money na water. Old money guys are literally building institutions and systems. They are thinking legacy. New money guys, they don't think legacy is immediate. Then, Baba, let's just enjoy. After they make with the checkout. Now, it's just the ground with that. So you must be able to understand that you must think sustainability after you are gone, not just succeeding. Number two, in the sense that in terms of the essence of legacy thinking is the fact that legacy thinking shift focus from what you gain, but what remains. After all is done, what am I going to leave? Somebody was asking me a question when I was in Lagos, and the person was saying to me, in all that you're doing with AfriOne, what is the legacy that you want to build around it? I say my biggest legacy, which I know that chances I may not happen in my time, and I've made peace, is the fact that I want to see a Nigeria. I want to see an Africa where in Nigeria will go to Tanzania and literally live a life, operate in its system, and literally become either the president, mayor, or whatever in that very particular place. Or a Tanzania going to Ghana, and where you don't see yourself as a Tanzania, but you see yourself as an active player in the economy of things of Africa and not just a nationality. What is my legacy I'm looking forward in building in Nigeria, for instance, which is bridging the divide kind of legacy, is where an Igbo man can literally go to Yoruba land and literally become a president, not president, literally become a governor and also attend it to the system. And yet, these are just my thinking. So based on that, the kind of content I'm going to bring on the table, the kind of thinking, the kind of conversations that I'm going to be having with you, chances are you may not even be thinking about it, or maybe you know it, but the basketballs of Nigeria has killed your Nigeria. You will hear that we are one Nigeria, but yet when a president is in power, he wipe out all the other nationality, all the other tribe, and bring his own tribe into that very particular. That's not the one Nigeria. And that is where many of us we are missing it. We are all living a tribalistic Nigeria, Religionistic, there's a grammar like that. There is a religionistic Nigeria. And it's a pain. And yet we say it's a one Nigeria. Let's be honest. I don't know. Maybe somebody will help me. Thus far, in the Nigerian of things, I don't know. Somebody can guide me if you're watching it. I don't know if an Igbo person have actually become a president. I'm not talking about Senate House. If an Igbo person has actually become a president, name, for example, he's an Echo Colonel, and what's the other name that they call him? Gozi or something like that. Not they like calling him that. Just goes here. I'm like, yet. But if you know that, apart from the likes of late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and co, I think he was just a prime minister. I was not even the head of it. So it's not there. Now, has an Ibira person been a president of the country? Otherwise, he might not have even been able to see it. So, which means we must begin to shift our thinking on what to gain to what remains. My question that I asked somebody on the air, I said, if this President Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime is, what are we going to remember him for? Like literally, let's look at our president past. All our president past, down to, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is still alive, down to late President Muhammadu Buhari. What legacy are we going to say these guys keep? What legacy? They think. Don't go tell family to the guys, those ones, you see them, I like them. One of the things I can say with them, you can see these are people that are shifting, they are moving their mindset to legacy thinking. Legacy, 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 legacy. You may not like the fact that they are monopolizing the business. They may be monopolizing the business, but the product that they are offering is available for everybody. So what? Question to Pengassi, buy one of the refineries and also be a competitor to Dangote. If Dangote is selling his petrol for 800 naira, you too buy one of the refinery, refine your own product, sell it for 500 naira. At the end of the day, the people have options to choose either to buy from your own Dangote or to buy from your own Pengassi. But no, you want to attack. Because why? Your mindset is survivor, not about legacy building. So in act of that very particular one, we must understand that legacy is not about age, wealth, or fame. It is about the impact that continues beyond your presence. What impact are you going to make? 2027 is coming around the corner. Like I said today, for me, it's just a chart. 2027 is coming around the corner. Your vote should be, see, let me say this to my Nigeria. Let your vote be a vote of legacy, not a vote of survivor. I bet you, come 2027, we'll be seeing a lot of Governor Amunike popping, whereby the next minute will be here, let's watch the edit, let's watch the edit, let's watch the edit and stuff. Governor Amunike is already helping us to see the madness that is going to show up come 2027. In fact, 2026, by this time, literally, this thing. Okay, I was told that my video is lagging, but the audio is good. So please and please pardon me. It's the Internet of Things that is causing all of this drama. So in case if the video is lagging, it's just the fact that the Internet of Things in Nigeria, I think by the time I was out of Abuja, let me be diplomatic, and I got there and I on my data. Oh, I was like, Father, the thing was just going, it was just flying. Wee. I said, yeah, try it in Nigeria. You know, I'm laughing. Oh, Dr. Prince Dixon, is good to see you. Legacy thinking is capacity, not an accidental. Let's see what he's saying here, which is something that is very important. This is Dr. Prince Dixon. This is one man that I want to encourage you all to please follow. He's been on Afri1 show, and I'm also on Afri1 radio and also Afri1 podcast. So let's read what he says here. He says, legacy thinking is capacity, not accidental. Without first embracing thinking as a capital, it becomes difficult to think in transgenerational terms. Yeah, just blame big grammar, sir. You know your people don't this kind of grammar. This is why national cake is crucial. True. I agree. But the problem there is the fact that I think in the transgender and not the issue of the, I don't understand what is going on with this internet. I think now that I'm watching it, it's beginning to show me that there's a wahala. And I think I choose to believe that maybe because the Donald Trump issue that is happening in Nigeria, so they are trying to reduce the speed of internet. I think, funny enough, I think Prince Dixon is. Yeah, there was one time he said something to me that was very interesting. I will never forget. I think that statement stuck in my brain. He said, "You trying to think." I think no, he was there. Echo was also people do that. It's also going to make you look as if you are not thinking straight. That statement stuck in my brain. He said, trying to think why they do that. It's also you thinking that you are not normal. Because why are you thinking that direction? I'm like, but it's normal. Thinking that is also not normal. So wherever we went to, it literally very particular junction. However, I just look at things, I just remove my face, do what I want to. I don't fit into system that is not working. You may see me as a rebel. That's your definition, is because you like the pain that is currently on ground. Donald Trump is trying to see a way of how to help us. I know that they may have their own ulterior motive and stuff. That's their problem. They may say, okay, fine, Donald Trump is trying to come to Nigeria to come and extort our resources, blah, blah, blah. Even the resources without Donald Trump, are we benefiting from it? So what's your problem? The one you come from Abuja to even just around the corner here, Kogi State, without insurgency and kidnap and all, is that not enough problems? And you are now bothered about resources that you don't even benefit. All the people shouting about resources, let's be honest, they are not benefiting from the resources. The real guys who are benefiting, they are not talking, they are quiet. So if you ask me, Donald Trump, come on. Me, I'm going to say come, so that at least we can sleep without doing like headsman crisis or insurgency or Boko Haram or whatever that is out there. You know all the things, because the things are many now. Let's go back to our topic, because I don't want to get distracted in terms of this legacy thinking. But please, in case if the video is lagging, I was told that the video is lagging, but the audio is good. Let's just manage doing business with me. Let me use the word, so that we create our own data system, whereby we don't then depend on the Nigerian data of things, that we now depend on our own data system, understanding that at least when we have that infrastructure, we can. And let me encourage you, please, as you're watching this, either live or you're going to watch the repeat, look at the problems in Nigeria. Even though somebody is playing there, go there and be a competitor to what is currently existing. I think I was speaking to somebody in the productivity Nigeria, and the guy said this that was very interesting. He was the director there. I don't want to mention him for security reasons. He said the problem with Nigeria is the fact that Nigerians are not competitive. Okay, I was told that it's now good. He said Nigerians are not competitive. Nigerians just want to survive. And so instead of them coming into the place to come and compete, apart from this guy, I think his company name is called BAU, B-U-A, and Dangote. That's the only two people playing on the cement industry in Nigeria for over 220 million people. That's too small. We should have at least 5 people in that very particular space playing on the cement industry in Nigeria. But it's only 2. Well, if you know the other third one, well, you can mention it, but at least for me, I only know 2, Dangote and this BAU guy. And that's all. We need to be able to have a spirit of competition, not to now compete to eliminate, but compete to be able to create. See, one of the things that competition does is the fact that it pushes innovation. It pushes it. The only competitive industry, and that's why you find a lot of innovation on that place, let's be honest, is the financial industry. It's the financial industry. Within the OPE family of things, I use the word OPE family because that's the most popular, what's it called? I'll use the word online payment stuff that is there. You have OPE, PAMPay, because all of them comes up and everybody's competing at a fast rate. They're all competing. Within the financial bank, which is the commercial bank, you now have your Zenith, all of those very particular bank and co. But on the manufacturing side of things, how many of them are playing there? How many access bank are using? You can't survive. To be very honest, I really did not survive. I actually have to You say you are enjoying Access Bank when you are that side. You see this Nigeria here, you can't have one bank account. Literally, I can tell you point blank. I think from my mistake, I have about 3, 4 from ups. And I'm wondering the other day I looked and said, how did I get here? Because why? Each of the banks they are competing. There's one bank I don't want to mention their name. I discovered that literally their transaction fee, not OPay, because I know all of you know OPay and co, not all this OPay's family. I discovered that their transaction fee was very cheap. I started saying, no, this bank are going to be. They don't charge you that 58 naira or 54 per transaction. I'm like, what the hell? And the thing is very fast. And literally, they're a full-blown commercial bank. I say, hey, if you want to know, consult. 750 rand. I don't know how to convert that money in Nigeria now. 750 rand times 85. That's the fee to consolidate it and let me know the amount in naira so that I know. With that being said, let's quickly go now to point number 2, which means your succession planning, the act of continuity. Because I promise you I have 17 minutes to go. And like I said, I just want to talk. I just want to talk about legacy thinking. I'm not coming here with heavy talk. So now let's look at it. This is succession planning point number 2. Succession planning is designing the leadership pipeline that ensures your mission, visions, and value continue seamlessly. I have said this before. I said you will never find me on Afro1 show. And even if my time on earth is over, Echo and its people that may come and take over Afro1, whether Afro1 Nigeria or Afro1, what's it called, globally and stuff, they cannot go beyond the vision and the scope of what this very particular product services rendering that we are doing. Because why? We are all about bridging the divide. We are all about Afro1. The name Afro1 there means Africa becoming one, and that encompasses all of its present ecosystem that is in Africa that we need to bridge, which means chances are you will never find us talking about gossips. You will never find us talking about things that is not uniting, that is not creating innovation, and that is not elevating one another. You will never find us there. Because why? It is not just about designing a product, but designing a product that fits the vision and the mission of stuff. That is why when Dangote moved from just the food business of things and go into the production of what's called oil and gas, it is part of his global vision. It's part of it. I was told that he took him over 10 years in research and development. I was shocked. I know you say that, but he has the money. But there was a time he doesn't have the money. But the mindset was there, and he sustained that vision long enough to the point that the money for him to build this very particular thing that we're seeing started showing. Sometimes the reason why you don't get the business that you need to get is because your vision long enough, you have not paid enough time thinking about that product enough well to be able to start seeing where the money will come into that very particular business. What are the key points for you to understand when it comes to succession planning is the fact that, number one, you must identify potential successor early, inside and outside the organization. You see this very particular point I put here. An average Nigerian business always feel that their children must take over from them. Hear me. I'm not looking forward for my son to take over from you, to be very honest. I'm not. He's good at running Afro1, he can take over stuff. But it's not my primary responsibility for me to. What if my son grew up and say he wants to become a baseball player? What then happen? So should the business die because my son is not there? No. I will build a system such a way to point blank, whereby, for example, let me still use Echo as my scapegoat. Echo is the one who takes over the business. I'm fine. Like, it's okay. The advantage, I always pray for business in terms of legacy thinking that we're talking about. I always think it's from a standpoint of Moses, where God actually gave Moses the grace for him to see the Joshua. How many of us have seen the Joshua, even as Moses still living? How many? Most founders literally are still sitting in the helms of leadership and stuff, and they are not seeing. That is why when TD Jakes did what he did a few years ago, a lot of Black Africans were all shouting, "What do you mean?" Blah, blah, blah. The guy decided to step down actively and allow his children to run that very particular stuff. And somebody was like, "No, but there are people working in the organization." I was privy for me to understand his selection process. Apparently, it was his board of directors that literally said to him, which literally in the board of TD Jakes directors, his children were not there. They were the one who selected Sarah Jakes to literally take, I think, women that would lose, and it now changed to Evolved. Now down to Potter's House, which is the one in Dallas, Texas and stuff. It was the board of directors that decided, and people said, see, Nigeria, what you don't know is bigger than you. I saw a lot of people attacking. What do you mean? Baba, let's be honest. If it's not his children, who else again will he give one? The children are the ones that are operating at that very particular level and frequency, not the people on the ground. One person, again, that this is me, I'm not saying that, I'm not endorsing him at the moment. All of us, we have our weaknesses and stuff. One person that I like his system so well within the ministry side of things, his name is Pastor Paul Ade Pharisee of House on the Rock. My few research I've done, if you notice I use the word few, my few research I've done with Pastor Paul is the fact that he gives each of his pastor an independent power for them to run House on the Rock wherever they are. I went to Abuja House on the Rock. I was shocked. It is totally different from what is happening in Lagos. But guess what? It is the energy of those very particular pastors. They bring it into the system of things. Yes, they still maintain excellence, which is the normal values which they have. But you could see that this person who is pastoring this very particular branch, and guess what? He's fine. He is fine. On that person again that I'm seeing also that does that very particular legacy thinking, I choose to be corrected. I think his church name is they call him Young Papa. I'm seeing his face. So yeah, because currently now he's talking about this insurgency stuff on his social media, and which I love him for that. This man, Apostle Emmanuel Iren. Yeah, because I know they call him Young Papa. Guess what? Apostle Emmanuel Iren is called Calvary or something like that, or Celebration. I can't remember the name. Celebration. Yeah, Celebration. Guess what? All his pastors, literally, that's a young man. I think if we're not age mate, I should be older than him, somewhere around that place. But guess what? Everybody's running independently. So at that level where he is, he's already seen I can bet you, chances are if you ask him who is the succession plan, he has about 5 people that he can think easily that if I close my eye, these 5 will run these things. How many of us in our business, literally, like here, I'm talking about the act of continuity, which is the ability for you to identify your successors early. The other day I was cracking joke. I think I was traveling and I ended up putting some sort of responsibility on Echo. And somebody was asking me, I don't want to mention him, like, okay, why did you? I say, I'm trying to check him out. I don't need him to be a company for 5 years. I will check you from day one. Let me know. Because if your staying power is very strong or your staying power is per second billing, let me know. Because why? I am thinking legacy. I'm not afraid leaving everything. Funny enough, the 5 days I was not around and stuff, I did not even think of them. I did not. I don't even bother. I didn't even know if they were even in Abuja or ever. I was fine. Because why? The Bible says, if you are not faithful in another man's business, who will commit your own to your hand? Simple. So if you decide not to be faithful with the business, you are literally just what you call learning your own system on how people will treat your business. I've been handed over companies in South Africa, literally, and the owner come back and they meet it. And by the time they wanted me to be in there, I said, sir, I just did my own part as my responsibility. I'm not in this company. No. And I bounced because at that moment, the company there, I was on a survivor mode, to be very honest, but I was also working in the company. I said the company is my company. To the point that they traveled and they came back, the media company has grown to the next level. But guess what? It was not an Afro-1 kind of thing for me, so I bounced. Even up to now, I'm still consulting with those very particular 2 companies. Because why is it legacy thinking? Have you identified your successor early? Hear me, church people, because that's the fastest growing business in Nigeria, church. Start creating your successors. Begin to see them. Begin to handpick them. The reason why Redeemed Christian Church of God, I know you people will be like, okay, why am I using church? Because that's the only growing business in Nigeria. I'm sorry. The reason why Redeemed Christian Church of God will grow this big, and if you notice, the founder of Redeemed Christian Church of God, if I'm not mistaken, I think his name is called Elder Pajimo. I choose to be corrected though. For you redeemed people who are very touchy when it comes to your church. Elder Pajimo, if that's the name, good. But guess what? The successor of the church, his name is called Daddy E.A. Adeboye. It is not connected to the original owner of that very particular church. But look at the speed at which Redeem has grown. I think once I was reading one of their models, they said the church must be 5 minutes away from. Funny enough, I read it 3 weeks ago. I was shocked. 5 minutes. I said, no, that Redeem is everywhere. 5 minutes away. One is 5 minutes away. The second one again, it says every street. I said, sad. Very soon, chances are the only church that will go to heaven will be redeemed. But guess what? To be very honest, that is what they call legacy thinking. The man up there has put that system in place to the point that he's not bothered. That's why he can stand up and say, my children, I want $30 billion. And those of you who are poor, having headache with that very particular amount, you know what it means for you to have church every 5 minutes or every street. Legacy thinking. Legacy thinking. Number two, in terms of the act of succession, is the fact that build capacity, not dependency, which is train people to think, not just obey. Train people to think. I think if you ask Echo and the team, there was a day I gave them a particular, I come up with a concept, I leave them, I say, well, go and think on how to build it. Up to now, to be very honest, if you ask them, they'll tell you, I've not even asked what their thinking is. A day is coming that I'm going to ask. They know, and that day I'm going to ask with an anger and annoyance. They've tested me before. They know that I'm going to ask. But guess what? I leave them. How they're going to think about the product. I think I traveled and now saw that they did a particular video, sent it to me, and I posted it on the social media platform. Guess what? It's because they can think independently outside of my being present. They don't need me to think, to be very honest, because if they all need me to think all the time, then we'll be duplicating the same thing and you guys will get bored. No fingerprint on planet Earth is the same. Variety is a spice of life. Diversity is, we don't. I like giving this example that the reason why all your fingers are not equal is the fact that you must understand that nobody should be equal to you in life. If you are this finger, you are very important, or you are this one at the end, you are very important, because all of us can come together and will literally hold something. The problem with the average black mind in terms of legacy thinking is the fact that you want to look for somebody that is exactly like you, and that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is. The reason why the Church of Nigeria, for example, is not moving forward at its speed in terms of impacting the kingdom of the world, not the kingdom of the church, is because we are trying to duplicate and be like our pastors. But you forget to understand that your pastor's job is to be there to pray Monday to Friday. Your job is to be at the office. Then you will now carry prayer point back to the office. And after then, you'll be seeing some of your staff will be telling you, I'm going to night vigil. And because of that, they want to leave office by 12 o'clock so they can go home and sleep and go to night. If you try it with me, hey, I'm a Christian, no. In fact, there's an apostle in my name. I'm like, goodbye. Because I'm operating on the marketplace. Your pastor is doing his job. That's why he's doing services Monday to Friday. You have your job where you need to go and report to. But guess what? You are trying to. That's why an average member in the Church of Nigeria, they are looking forward to be like their pastor to open a church. Because why? That's the template that they have seen thus far. So because of that, you will now see that if the pastor is palming his hair, you also want to palm your hair. If the pastor is wearing old school trousers, you also want to wear old school trousers. We can't find the uniqueness in you. That's why I actually bring the name of Pastor Emmanuel Iren and Pastor Paula Deferres as an example. Pardon me for the word pastor. Yeah, they are pastors now. Yeah. Whatever you are attached to is, please accord me that freedom to just be free. So which means build capacity, not dependence. Train people to think, not just to obey. Number three, I can put here in terms of succession planning, document your system, principle, and process. Document them. Even here at everyone, to get to a particular point where what I'm doing, I'm not going to be the one doing it. With all due respect, I promise you, the time is coming. You will come on a Friday like this. It is not Darlington at the sitting doing it. Somebody else. That's why it's called the Afro One Show, not the Darlington Steve Show. I have a reason why we name it the Afro One Show. So that tomorrow, if you find Echo or Nadi, or Charlotte, or whoever sitting down here doing the show, you are not shocked or surprised, because it's just called the Afro One Show with the Afropolitan Apostle Darlington Steve. The next time is going to be the Afro One Show with the Afropolitan Echo doing the thing, or the Afropolitan Nadi, because everybody's an Afropolitan. That name Afropolitan is for everybody working in the organization of Afro One. So when you see Echo name tomorrow, he started adding Afropolitan Echo. Don't be angry. It's just the fact the Afropolitan is the vision side of African unity that he has adopted so well. And so because of that, the Echo comes into the picture. It can become Afropolitan, Pastor, Echo, whatever. Because this is nice. I see that these guys are excited about our Monday prayer. Point number three, finally, that I'm going to stop here, then we'll continue next week, is the fact that you must, when you are thinking legacy thinking, you must understand institutional branding. Institutional branding. Two people that is playing institutional branding very well in Nigeria. In fact, three. It's just that, okay, let me add this one on 4. Okay, let me balance it 4. 2 business, 2 church. Yeah. 2 people that are doing institutional branding. One of them, the biggest currently now, is Aluko Dangote on the business side. And on the business side, the name called Femi Otedola. Now, on the church side, institutional branding, number 1, Bishop David Oyedepo of Winners Chapel. Number 2, Daddy E. Adeboye. They are all an institutional. By the time you want to count top 5 of each of these places, you must call these names that I've mentioned at least into the picture. Those guys are institution. They are institution. I was privileged for me to be able to be at House on the Rock, Lagos. I discovered that, man, that place is I use the word is a arc. So in institutional branding, which means you must build identity beyond your personality. That's what it means. That's why the branding we're building with AfroOne, for instance, you will never find Darlington Steve on top of the picture, because it's not just about me, it's about a continent. It's about Nigeria unifying. It's not just about Abuja. It's also inclusive with Kogi. I'm trying to remember those days in school, state and capital. Zambia, well, forget it. Oh, they just come. I think it's not because national anthem has changed now. So what's my problem? Can I also change in forgetting of other things? It's about the 36 provinces in Nigeria and also the 11 provinces in South Africa, the whatever provinces in Kenya, and all of those very particular places. So it's institutional branding of things. I don't think Nigeria. That's why the show is not called Nigeria One Show. It's called AfroOne Show. I don't think just only Africans living in Africa. I think Africans living in diaspora. Institutionalized. That's the brand of it all. That's why you will never find me by mistake. Let me say this because somebody once asked me. You will never find me by mistake wearing any other brand apart from this logo on my head. As far as cap is concerned, if the cap is not there, I go with my head empty, or I go to the salon, I tell them write A1. Because why? It's all about branding. It's all about branding. I think I'm going to pause here. I think let me just put this key point. Move from personal recognition into institution. Number one, establish brand guidelines, vision, and mission. Your brand must speak when you are not even in the room. Your brand must speak. I'm going to pause here for today, and we'll continue this next week so that it's easier for us to be able to play this. And please, let me say this to you all. Those of you who are going to be rewatching, let me play this with you all. I want you to understand this. Hear me. If you are going to think legacy, you must be selfless. Selfishness in you must die. Must die. Whether you are running a property business, you're running a media business, you're running a fintech, you're running whatever, start thinking beyond you to say, okay, if I close my eye today, will this business keep going? And if at all the business will go, who are the key players that can run this business successfully? It's a question you and I need to answer ourselves as this show is coming to a close. If you have any question you want to ask us, the number that is currently available at this very particular place, you can use them. Or you can also email us and we'll be able to attend to you properly. Please and please come back and watch this over and over again. And if you're running up, start thinking legacy while you are starting, you can consult us by calling any of the number that you find on the screen, and we'll take it up from there. I remain your host, the Afropolitan Apostle Darlington. Next week, and in me seeing you next week, please remember this. You can catch us on all our social media platforms. Please follow us there. But very important, on Wednesday next week, always follow us on our radio show, which is known as the Armed Forces Radio 107.7 here in Abuja. But we also stream live on all our online platforms, which is known as the AfroOne Show. With that being said, bye for now. I'll see you next week, same time, same place, same station, which is known as AfroOne. God bless you.
The AfroOne Show, voice of a new tribe, where the Afropolitan spirit rises as we come together to rebuild Africa, Nigeria, and its marketplace, empowering its people and the diaspora with everything they need. Together, we form a new tribe, creating opportunity and access to markets, driving reinvestments, fostering collaboration, and working to elevate and one another with proven solutions. A true revival in Africa is possible, despite the challenges, though through intentional development that drives innovation, delivers mutual benefits, and inspires a culture of ownership for Africa and Africans. The time is now to unite, innovate, elevate with the Afropolitan Apostle Darlington Steve on the AfroOne Show, voice of the new tribe.